Hey guys, how are you today? Quick rant before we dive into today's chaos. As some of you might have noticed, YouTube's algorithm has decided I'm not special anymore. Shocking, I know. So now if you don't like, comment, or do a little backflip in the algorithm's honor, this video might just vanish into the void, never to be seen again. Seriously though, even a hi or "this is wild" in the comments helps way more than you think. It tells YouTube, hey, people actually like this channel. Maybe don't hide it from everyone. That can really help push my videos out to a wider audience, not just to my subscribers. So if you enjoy these stories and want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Now grab a drink, get comfy, and enjoy the drama. You won't want to miss this one. I'm a 63-year-old woman, and my husband passed away 2 years ago. He was my best friend, my rock, and the person I built my entire life around for nearly 4 decades. Losing him was like having the floor ripped out from under me. One moment we were planning our retirement, our grandkids' next birthday parties, our garden upgrades, and the next, I was sitting alone at the kitchen table, hearing the silence ring louder than any conversation ever had. I won't sugarcoat it. I've been grieving ever since. The only thing that kept me going during those dark early months was my son. He's 35 now, married with 2 young kids. We've always been close. He's my only child. He was close to his dad too, and I thought maybe our shared grief would bring us even closer. In those early days, he would call to check in, bring the grandkids by once a week, and sometimes we'd talk on the phone almost daily. I never asked him to replace his father, but having him nearby gave me a reason to get out of bed, to put on lipstick again, to bake something for someone. And yes, maybe I leaned on him more than I should have, but never in a toxic or demanding way. I didn't call in the middle of the night. I didn't barge in. I didn't guilt him into coming over. I simply existed and wanted to be part of his life. I offered help, supported them with babysitting, and sometimes just called to say hello. We live only 30 minutes apart, and I thought our closeness was normal, natural. Which brings me to my birthday. 2 weeks ago, I turned 63. It's my second birthday without my husband, and I'd been dreading it quietly for weeks. I didn't plan a huge party, just a dinner at my favorite Italian place, a table for 6. I invited my son, his wife, and the kids, along with my sister and her husband. Everyone RSVP'd yes. I was excited. I even got my hair done. The night came, and they never showed. My sister and her husband came. They brought me a lovely scarf, and we drank a little too much wine. But my son and his family, no call, no message, no explanation. They just didn't come. I spent the next day trying not to cry. I kept telling myself maybe something came up, maybe the kids were sick, but there was no emergency, just silence. So I sent him a text, a short one. I told him I was hurt, that I felt sad, that it was hard spending my birthday without them, and even harder not getting so much as a happy birthday from my own child. I told him I was still grieving, and that his absence felt like another kind of death. That's when I got the reply that turned my entire world upside down. He said, and I quote, that he and his wife need space from me, that I've become too intense and too involved in his life. He said it's not healthy for us to talk almost every day, and that he's not a mummy's boy anymore. He told me his wife thinks it's strange that I expect to see the kids so often, and that they're trying to establish boundaries. It was like getting slapped across the face. I just sat there rereading it, shaking. After everything I've done, the babysitting, the holidays, the financial support, the meals dropped off when they were sick. Now I was too much? I didn't reply. I didn't trust myself not to say something I'd regret. Instead, I sat with that pain for days. And then, I made a decision. If my son and his family didn't want me to be part of their day-to-day lives, if my closeness was too much, my grief too heavy, my love too inconvenient, then maybe it was time I started living for myself again. So I called a realtor. The house that my husband and I built together, our home of 35 years, is now on the market. It's far too big for one person, and every corner reminds me of someone who's gone. I found a lovely, low-maintenance condo in a walkable neighborhood across the country, near a few friends from college who always said I should visit. I even looked into a solo travel group for retirees, Italy, Japan, New Zealand. I've always wanted to see the world, and for the first time in my life, I might actually do it. When my son found out about my plans from my sister, he called me, livid. He shouted at me, said I was being reckless, that selling the house wasn't sensible, that I was blowing through what would eventually be his inheritance, that traveling was a selfish thing to do when I should be thinking about the future of the family. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. After ignoring me on my birthday and telling me I'm too involved in his life, he suddenly felt entitled to dictate how I live mine, because he assumes it's his money someday. I told him that my house is mine, that my savings are mine, that I worked for years, alongside his father, to build the life we had, and that I will not spend the rest of my life sitting alone in a big, empty house, waiting for my grief to expire while my son's family pretends I don't exist. I told him I love him. I told him I love my grandchildren. But I will not live the rest of my life being not too much, just to be tolerated. He hung up. Since then, I've heard through family that he's angry, that he thinks I'm punishing him by selling the house and traveling, that I'm withdrawing and being dramatic. But I don't think I am. I think for the first time since my husband died, I'm trying to live again. Not just survive, not just wait for a phone call, not just be someone's backup plan or free babysitter, but actually live. So, Reddit. Am I the asshole for selling my house, downsizing, and deciding to travel, after my son said I'm too intense and accused me of spending his children's inheritance? Not the a-hole. OP is not spending his inheritance. OP is spending her life. And frankly, OP has earned it. OP devoted her entire adult life to building a home, raising a child, being a loving partner, and surviving devastating grief. If OP's son doesn't want to be part of OP's life, that's his choice. But he doesn't get to guilt OP into sitting still, just in case there's money left over for him. OP doesn't owe anyone an apology for choosing joy. Also, OP's son clearly was influenced by his wife making this decision. And now let's hear community's opinion. This post broke my heart. You sound like a grieving widow who tried her best to stay connected to the only family you have left. And your son weaponized your love against you. He called you intense because you love too much, and reckless because you dared to choose yourself. Not the a-hole. Go see the world. Find new adventures. You've been everyone's rock. Now be your own. Imagine telling your own grieving mother that she's too intense for wanting to be part of your life, then flipping out when she chooses to spend her own money on something other than your bank account. Your son sounds incredibly selfish and immature. Not the a-hole. I hope he one day realizes that relationships are worth more than inheritance. But by then, I hope you're sipping wine in Tuscany and not giving his tantrum another thought. Oh no, how dare you, a widow, spend the money you and your husband earned together on your own healing and happiness instead of preserving it in a glass jar labeled for son's future boat. Don't you know mothers are supposed to be sad, silent, and conveniently available for free childcare until they quietly pass away, leaving behind a fully paid-off house and untouched retirement account? The nerve of you wanting to actually live.
I, 54 female, am divorced from my ex, Jim, 57 male, who married his wife, Kate, 41 female, 2 years after our divorce. Jeff and I have a daughter, Anne, 28 female. Kate likes to take Anne for mother-daughter experiences and has taken several important ones I wanted to take Anne for. Ear piercing when Anne was 14, prom dress when she was 17, graduation dress to wear under her gown when she was 22. I never brought it up with Anne because I didn't want her to feel bad, but after the earrings, I told Kate I was upset because I wanted to take Anne for it. I even told Anne I wanted to take her to shop for her prom gown and later her graduation gown, but both times, Kate took her anyway. And Anne told me that Kate said that I said it was okay. Both times I talked to Kate and asked her not to do it again, but didn't press the issue to avoid fighting. At Christmas, Anne and her boyfriend Jesse, 30 male, announced their engagement. Everyone congratulated them, but I pulled Anne aside and made her promise that no matter what, she would include me in the dress shopping and offered to pay up to $5,000 for her dress. I even told her I would take a personal day at work to shop with her because it was that important to me. I also pulled Kate and Jeff aside and informed them that I planned to take Anne dress shopping. On the 28th, Ann called me to tell me that Kate had taken her to a bridal shop to look at gowns, and when Ann asked about me, Kate told her that I had said it was okay. I'm not proud of myself because I blew up and started to cry. I said that no, it wasn't okay, that Kate was lying, and she had lied to Ann when she took her for her graduation and prom dresses and for her ear piercing because I was going to take her, and Kate stole those experiences from me, and I wasn't going to let her take this one too. Ann was silent when I collected myself, and I apologized and assured Ann I was not mad at her and was grateful that she called. Ann wanted to know why I hadn't told her, and I said it was because I didn't want to cause a problem because she liked Kate. Ann told me that she liked Kate, but that I was her mom, and she loved me, and she promised she wouldn't shop for a dress without me. We hung up on good terms, and I thought that was it. My ex called me several hours later to scream at me that I had turned Ann against Kate. What I managed to piece together from his ranting was that Ann disinvited Kate from the wedding. I told my ex I would talk to Ann. Ann told me that she told Kate that she was going to wait until she could shop with me and her friends. Kate argued, and Ann told her about our conversation, who then blamed it on Jeff as his idea for bonding time between Kate and Ann, which Ann didn't believe. I called my ex back and told him about both conversations I had with Ann, and Jeff denied it and told me Kate had also told him that I said those things were okay too. So now either Ann nor Jeff is speaking to Kate. Not the a-hole. First of all, kudos to you for keeping cool for so long, so as to not make things harder for your daughter. That said, Kate is an absolute a-hole who knew exactly what she was doing. Your ex is just as bad for encouraging that behavior. Duck both of them. Kate has been lying to your daughter for years. If she didn't want her BS to come out, she shouldn't have continued with it. It's not your fault you emotionally caved after putting up with it for over a decade. Even then, you didn't put the blame or burden on your daughter. Kate is the a-hole for what she did. You're not the a-hole. I hope you get this sorted. Edit. I reread it. X isn't the a-hole either. Not the a-hole. You've been putting up with Kate's lying for 16 years in order to promote a relationship between her and your daughter, while she did her best to get in between you and her daughter. Kate deserves the silent treatment for a while. My wife, 42 female, and I, 45 male, were having dinner with our only son, 23 male, 2 weeks ago. We're celebrating the fact that he got into one of the top 10 PhD programs for physics. We were having dinner with each other at our house. My son has no past issues. He's smart, social, caring, and hardworking boy. He has a good set of friends and an amazing girlfriend. I'm just completely shocked at what happened. The argument. Both of us were congratulating him on his achievement and told him how we were so proud of the fact that he was the first to get a PhD in the entire family. He said thanks as usual. My wife reminded him to make it a priority to maintain contact with us when he moves to start his PhD. For some reason, he snapped at that moment. He stopped eating for a moment, and with a stern look, he asked, "Why?" I didn't know why he was angry. I just wanted to defuse a potential fight, and jokingly said, "'Cause we're your parents, silly." Then he said, "Well, your job is done now. You don't need to be bothered with me. You have more time for each other now." His mom asked what's the matter. He said he doesn't understand. Why does he have to force himself to maintain contact with his parents, who loved each other more than him? We were shocked and asked what makes him think like that. He went on his rant and said we may love him, but he was mostly a job for us that we needed breaks from. He mentioned up till starting college, in the 3 to 4 vacations of 2 of the 3 weeks we take a year, we mostly went without him and dumped him at our parents' place. It's true, though most of our trips have been as couples since the beginning. This isn't the first time bringing it up. He mentioned for a majority of the weekends we had, we looked forward to our date nights more than spending time with him. He said he felt that while we did love him, he was always at the back seat of our relationship. I told him we needed our own couple time too. He said that he understood that, but it seemed for him that moments of fun we always preferred to spend as a couple. The major thing that kicked me in the balls was when he said one of the major reasons he enjoyed college is that he no longer needed us for emotional support. He said he enjoyed spending time with his friends more than spending time with us. He said that's why he wanted to dorm for his 4 years. Before he left, he said he was tired of being part of a family that placed him second when it came to love, especially when it wasn't his choice, and he wanted to be equally loved. He left dinner that night without a goodbye and hasn't contacted us since. Me and his mom were bawling our eyes out every day since then. We can't sleep at night at all. The worst part is that since he doesn't need us financially anymore, he can cut us out of his life with no drawbacks. Did we mess up with him as parents? In our eyes, we did everything we're supposed to as parents. We loved him, fed him, sheltered him, paid for his tuition, and spent time with him. Apparently not enough. Forgive me if I didn't articulate myself properly. It hurts writing this. What should we do? Did we go wrong? Advice is needed. Thank you all. Update. Just last Friday, my wife and I came in physical contact with our son. A lot of stuff has happened between the time we last saw him storming out on us during dinner and meeting him last Friday. First week, we kept calling our son 5 times a day and leaving him 3 voicemails daily. We never heard him pick up the phone. Within the second week, his girlfriend picked up his phone one day and told us he's living with her at her apartment and doesn't want to see us. She told us to give him time to cool down. Meanwhile, our lives at home were getting screwed over. The first couple of weeks, all of our energy was put into getting into contact with him and visits for us. We knew where his girlfriend lived, and my wife wanted to make personal visits, but I warned her showing up at his doorstep uninvited is only going to make the situation worse. We called our family members to persuade him to talk to us. It didn't matter if we had his grandparents, aunts, uncles to call him, but his response was politely telling him that he is willing to talk to them about anything but us, and apologized if he inconvenienced them. We realized our method wasn't working. We decided to go for counseling and therapy, for not only for trying to reconnect with him, but to also process our emotions through the difficult times. We slowly stopped overwhelming him with our attempts to contact him. Both our counselors suggested we respected his boundaries and let him make the first move. So we decided to leave a voicemail to his phone that we will not be bothering him, but our door is always open to him. These 3 months were painful to say the least. Our life decreased significantly. There was time my wife started crying in the middle of it, since it reminded her of the time we let him cry out his nightmare when he was 3 years old, but still didn't let him enter our room because we were in the middle of having and we wanted to finish. We didn't go on any date nights or outside of the house for that matter. My wife and I became homebodies. A lot of guilt was plaguing us. That guilt led to a time of introspection. We started doing research on family dynamics during our spare time. We asked questions to ourselves such as, did we spend enough time with him? Did he feel like a burden to our relationship? Were we wrong to put our relationship first over a relationship with him? We wanted to be aware of what was going on in his life, so we used to follow him on social media. We checked his Facebook page every day. That was a big mistake. We found out that he proposed to his girlfriend last month, and she said yes. We found out through a post on his Facebook page. Yes, that's right. We, the parents, found out the engagement of our only child through ducking Facebook. Jesus! As if that weren't already enough pain, we were stuck in the same cycle again for the past, until he finally reached out to us. We got a call from our son this past Monday, and it was like a positive sign from the universe. He said he wanted to talk about our relationship. He asked if he could come to our house this Thursday with his girlfriend for support. We obviously said a resounding yes. We were anxious. I didn't expect it to be a tearful reunion, but definitely a step in reconciliation. My wife and I discussed with each other about how to lead the conversation. We both agreed to apologize any anguish we caused and to listen to what he has to say first. When came this Thursday, we sat impatiently waiting for him after we came back from work. When he rang the doorbell and we opened the door, there was no sense of warmth from him, but a reluctant smile. His girlfriend almost felt sad being there. I had a feeling that night. They both refused any drinks we offered to them. My son felt extremely uncomfortable being there. My wife told him that if he wanted to speak first, that he should. This is what he said to us. He apologized to us if he caused us any emotional turmoil. He said his resentment started building up ever since he was little. There were a lot about our behavior that contributed to his point of view. He felt like having kids was more of a checklist that we wanted to complete, instead of being actively interested in being a parent and having a deep bond as a parent. He said that whenever there was a disagreement with one of us, that we would always take each other's sides over his. It felt like there was an us versus him type family dynamic. Whenever we came back home from work, we looked forward to seeing each other, not him. When it came to spending time with him, it felt like doing stuff with him was physically and emotionally draining with him. Like we needed a break from him after having a break with him. One-on-one time felt like it was even more taxing to us, according to him. He also said that there were times we wanted to spend with each other. He also said that we lit up when we wanted to spend time as a couple. He said that we put more time and effort into having our date nights and couple time than spending time with him. He said we seemed more upset when we couldn't have couple time over having family time. The fact that we spent our vacation as a couple than as a family compounded the problem. He found it bizarre when we claimed we missed him after we came back from our trips. When he was young, he cried when we showed him pictures of our trips. We comforted him by saying we love him, but we need our couple time. He said that even made him more upset. He felt like we were using our parents, his grandparents, as our impromptu babysitters. He said that this feeling was further corroborated when visits significantly decreased when he grew older. He said he gave up on having a relationship with us when he entered high school. He said he put more effort and time into his academics so he could use his energy in a more productive manner than on us. He said it didn't come as a surprise when we didn't notice because we never formed a close bond with him to notice such things. He said his academics and friendships satisfied him more than spending time with us. Eventually, we were just roommates to him. He became apathetic when we didn't spend time with him and turned us down many times. We always thought he was too busy for us. He said that his bond with us weakened even more during college. He never missed us, and he got annoyed when we asked to meet him and complained about him not calling us often. He said he cried sometimes because he felt guilty of not missing us. He also said one of the reasons he did well in his academics was because he wanted to do well in other aspects of his life, such as following his passion in physics, and he wanted to lead a happy life with us, barely or entirely out of it. That's when he started tearing up at the moment. It still hurts him that the reason he is successful today is because he wanted to get away from us. He said he felt free when he went to college, and now he is soon going to grad school this fall on the other side of the country. The past few months, he realized a lot of new things. He concluded by stating what he wants for the future. He said he is very grateful for what we did for him, such as paying for college. He will financially support us if we ever need it, or be present when an emergency or family crisis occurs. Aside from that, we are not a priority in his life at all. We shouldn't be demanding phone calls and/or him visiting us anymore. He said he shouldn't be forced to maintain a strong relationship with us because we never cultured it while we raised him. He states that family or not, an adult isn't obligated to have and maintain a relationship with any other adult. He said he was stuck in a relationship with us he didn't want to have until he became independent. He no longer regrets his decision. He said at the end of the day, we chose to be his parents, not the other way around. We could have found ways to bond with him and find common ground and stuff to do with him, so it didn't feel like a burden to be a parent to him. We never incorporated him in our lives and saw being a parent akin to a job. We had every opportunity to form that close bond with him, and we never took it. Before he left, he said he wished us a happy and healthy life for us, and we're invited to his wedding if we want to come. Time froze after he left, and we were flabbergasted to what happened. It was like he divorced us. My door is always open to him, and I hope one day he can forgive us for the way we treated him. However, I don't know how to move on with this possibly permanent estrangement. Any suggestions? Thank you for reading this. Writing this alleviated my anxiety a little bit. Jack, I still love you, son. Please come back. I'm sorry. Update. There is so much judgment from you guys. I believe that the spouse comes first. Your kids eventually will leave you, but the spouse stays with you till the end. I maybe didn't have a proper balance, but no parent is perfect. I need help to get him to understand that we love him and we're sorry. 4 vacations a year lasting 2 to 3 weeks without him? Wow, perfect example of adults who had a kid for the sake of a milestone. Even in the end, they don't understand their son. That was hard. And OP till the end just can't comprehend what he and his wife did wrong. The way I read that update isn't them trying to reconnect with their son because they genuinely want to, but to alleviate their guilt because they don't like feeling guilty. Their perfect shiny worldview was shattered, and they couldn't cope. That final edit just seals it. OP saying he loves his son while simultaneously saying his spouse will always come first. Well, it seems OP got what he wanted. It's just him and his spouse from now on. My parents weren't always emotionally there for me and my sibling, and we're still trying to work on it. But damn, they would have stopped banging each other if one of us was crying for them. I just can't imagine hearing your 3-year-old cry for you and your priority is finishing having S. Just picture a little kid crying from a nightmare while his parents deliberately ignore so they can be intimate. Just breaks my heart. Kids are naturally inclined to bond with their parents, and to have that rejected absolutely sucks. I think it says a lot that the son was even able to communicate all his feelings so adequately.